we have to say right now, this movie, Cuckoo, made for $7 million. It looks like a $30 million movie. This movie just looks fantastic. This movie is well put together. Some nice editing effects, some on-screen effects. But for $7 million, we get the coming out party of Hunter Schafer. This is our girl. And she really feels like a woman of the time. Feels like she exists in this world that we live in right now. Now, this movie also takes place far off. Europe, Germany, some Scandinavian place, right? It's not in America. Hey, it's good. It's good to take characters and put them someplace that we're not familiar with. Makes it a little bit more scary. But this movie is spoiled by the monologue of another movie that was perfectly executed. One movie's monologue spoils another movie's plot reveal, plot twist, plot revelation. We have to talk about it. Cuckoo is on a lot of top 10 lists for 2024. Some people have put it as number 1. This could be the number 1 horror movie of 2024. Not here. It's October, and it's time for the 31 Days of Dread. This is where you get one horror movie a day for the entire month of October. That's how much we love horror. That's how much we love Halloween on the Film Buff Podcast. And here's the crazy thing. This is the longest running horror event in all of podcasting. So get ready. We're going to rock and roll. We're going to scare our socks off. And yes, we're going to be grabbing some candy. Maybe some cereal. Let's go. Permission to approach. My one psychiatrist friend, years ago, I just went through. Yeah, we'll say, like, I had to meet with someone regularly to talk. And when he would get perfectly surgically honest with me, he would say, permission to approach. So I'm asking Cuckoo permission to approach, because the only good thing about this movie is Dan Stevens. We know him from The Guest. We know him from this year's Abigail. This dude is an absolute weapon. This is another role we don't recognize him in. Any movie this guy's in deserves your attention. He usually selects good movies. Got good history, good filmography. He's not even the name yet. This guy should have been in Top Gun Maverick, and he should have exploded onto it. He should be in the next Mission Impossible. He could probably play the submarine in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2. He could play the sub. This guy's so good. He's the best part of this movie. Christopher Waltz. He plays the villain. He's James Bond's brother. I believe in Tomorrow Never Dies. Or Spectre. One of them. But he has this monologue that he delivers to James Bond where he describes himself and his life. And he describes a cuckoo bird, which lays its eggs in another bird's nest and tricks the bird to raising the eggs. And I guess it kills at the end of it. This movie is that. I'm watching this movie, and we see references of the cuckoo bird throughout this movie. We have a wonderfully angsty teenage girl. We have a teenage girl that gets mixed up in things, and she gets into accidents and gets bloody and broken before the SHIT really hits the fan. This movie has an element of mystery and revelation that we want to watch to be revealed. And when it's revealed, it's not there. The creature design or the hook creature is not quite there. This movie, relatively, as the cuckoo bird dictates, is a reproductive horror movie. Any reproductive horror movie is hard to watch when we have the perfection of It Follows lingering overhead. I would like to recommend this movie sometimes horror gets recommended on the idea of what the hook is. What's the monster doing? What's the lore? What's the environment? What's the backstory? What are we told? How are we told it? How interesting of a world is this really? Is this a spin on a creature or even a trope that we didn't see coming? That's in a lot of ways enlightening. A lot of horror movies get recommended because of that, but it also makes the movie thrilling to watch, more engaging. Dan Stevens, I love him. I got upset when he died. Spoiler, dies by a gun in this movie, but he's there till the end. I just wanted him to live. I love him. I love his character so much. We have a, hanging of a lantern girl with a butterfly knife, which I believe is can we say that's a callback to Leon or a callback to the girl from Kick-Ass, The Professional, if you guys, Natalie Portman. So I don't know, AKA Powders. This movie's on a lot of those lists, but we can say something. Tillman Singer, this is our writer-director. We still have a movie. We have a movie significantly shot at night with a great bicycle sequence that there's really not a lot of in movies in general, but that's spoiled by the trailer. But great bicycle sequence. There's a lot coming from this guy. I'm hoping he continues. I'm hoping that this movie, is curious enough for some people. Now, that doesn't mean I cannot come around and maybe see this movie again through a different set of eyes. But as of now, I hate to say it, I think this movie's overrated. I don't like the hook of the monster. And the entire time I'm watching it, I have that monologue from James Bond playing in my head. So, maybe I watched too many movie guys. Maybe the film buff killed it for himself. So for 31 Days of Dread, don't watch. Cuckoo 2024. AKA Powders, thank you for joining me for another episode of the 31 Days of Dread. We have been dedicated to horror for a long time on this feed, on this podcast. If you guys want to know more about everything we do here, go to AKAPAD.com. From there, you can navigate to the 31 Days of Dread. We have a dedicated landing page that goes through all the years of the 31 Days of Dread, and we also have a directory that jumps you to any movie that we've done. So you can just look up the movie by name, you can go to the directory, it's all alphabetical, and you can just explore. And that's the intent, and that's why we're so into the 31 Days of Dread, because no one's done this. No one has put this much time, this much thought and effort into American horror and international horror, and we love it. Horror is the future of American cinema. Horror right now is holding up American cinema, and I'm so thankful for it. So I'm hoping that you can extend yourself, explore, and continue the conversation. AKAPad.com. Thanks, guys.